G'day and welcome to another one of my videos. What we're going to have a look at today is just a basic introduction to fractions. So let's start with a definition. A fraction is a way of representing part of a whole. So we all have known about having part of an apple and so on. So what we're going to have a look at, for example, is eating 3 pieces of a pizza that is cut into 8 equal pieces. So we can write that as 3/8. And that just represents 3 of the 8 pieces, or 3/8. All right, so now let's have a look at parts of a fraction. So let's consider the fraction below. We're going to use that 3/8 again from the 3 pieces of the 8 of the pizza. And let's have a look at what that 3 is called. So we call that the numerator. So the number up the top, in this case the 3, is the numerator. The number down the bottom, we call that the denominator. So the 8 is the denominator. But what some people don't know is that line that's in between them, that separates them. We actually call that the vinculum. So the vinculum is the line that separates the 3 from the 8, the numerator from the denominator. Now that we've had a look at parts of a fraction, what we're now going to do is have a look at types of fractions. So we have what we call proper fractions. So a proper fraction is where the numerator is smaller than the denominator. So our 3/8 that we had before, the numerator, the 3, is smaller than the denominator, the 8. So that is a proper fraction. An improper fraction, well, that is where the numerator is larger than or even equal to the denominator. And that's the part that some people forget, the equal to part. So 13/8 is an improper fraction, and so is 12/12. That's an improper fraction. And then we have one last one, is what we call mixed numerals, and that is where we have a whole number as well as a fraction. So we've got 2 wholes and 3/8. So we've eaten 2 whole pizzas and another 3/8 of the third one. So there are different types: our proper fractions, improper fractions, and mixed numerals. Okay, so what we now need to do is just do a little bit of an example. So example 1, we're going to have a look at what is the value of the numerator in each fraction below. So we've got 3 fractions there. So we've got 7/10, so 7/10. So the numerator is 7, remembering the numerator is the number up the top there. And I like to remember the U there for up. So up the top, the numerator is the 7. If we have a look in our second fraction, the 12/5, again, the numerator is the one up the top, so that must be the 12. And if we have a look at our mixed numeral over here, again, here's our fraction part. The numerator is the number up the top, so the numerator is 2. So let's have a look at a second example. So we're going to have a look now at the denominator. So what is the value of the denominator in each fraction below? So let's have a look at those same 3 fractions we did a moment ago. So we've got our 7/10, our 12/5, and our 3 2/8, and we want the denominator of each, which is the one down the bottom. So the D for down is going to tell us the one down here, our denominator. So in our first one, our denominator is 10. In our improper fraction, the one down the bottom is our 5, so the denominator is 5. And in our mixed numeral, again, the number down the bottom is 8, so our denominator is 8. And let's have a look at a third example. So this time we're going to have a look at the type of fraction. So what type of fraction is each of the following? And this time I've got 4 examples. So let's have a look at our first one. Our numerator, the number up the top, is 12. Our denominator is 5, the number down the bottom. And we can notice that the numerator is larger than the denominator, so that type of fraction is an improper fraction. Let's look at example B, the second one. We can see that there's a whole number as well as a fraction, so this gives us a mixed numeral. Our third one, our numerator is 7, denominator 10. So the numerator is smaller than the denominator. So that is going to be a proper fraction. And the one that many people forget is when the numerator is the same as the denominator. So we have a look at 4/4 here, or 4/4. And when the numerator is the same as the denominator, then that also is improper. So it's an improper fraction. So what happens now? Well, you need to actually go out and practice that. So the more that you practice, the better you're going to get. And when you've done that, you need to practice again, and then practice some more. And just like in any sport, the more you practice, the better you get at your skills. The same here in maths. So practice, practice, and practice again. And thanks for watching one of my videos.